Hey everybody, it's me, Pam, Dragon Moon Creations. Welcome back to my channel. Hopped on here to do a couple things. First of all, I wanted to show you how I finished out that last notepad. I know it's been a while. You know, sometimes life happens. And, oops, sorry. Yeah, anyway. This is how I finished out this one with the butterflies. And I said I hadn't done the front. I did actually stamp it with my stamp on the back. But, yeah. I just cut this out with the doily thing that actually when doily was well, I guess, but it's just doily on the edges, and that was from Gina Marie Designs. And then the one doily I was going to use, one of my subscribers, I think it was Brenda, I found a bigger butterfly like this. The other one, it was dark green and everything. She said maybe if you brighten up the butterfly, and then I have the paper doll. And down here I couldn't figure out what to do, so I have an old-fashioned label maker, so I got out the label maker, and right there on this paper it says little things. I said, that's nice, you know, little things, little butterflies. So I did little things, and I used the last 2 stars out of that pack that I said this one, it had the, see, they used the last of those stars. I'm trying to get through this real quick because somebody asked me to do something. And then I used another pad of paper, and I made this one. My husband really likes this one. It says it's written in the stars. It's real flat, nothing frilly on the front, and it's got the moon and the stars. And I forget what paper pad I'd used because I put all my paper pads away. I actually reorganized all my paper pads, and I actually stamped that one too, but my husband really liked that one. This is a star punch, and I punched the really thin silvery stars out of that you get at Dollar Tree, that vinyl that like you use in your, anyway, I got those. And this one I made the spine a little bit narrower. I had someone asked me the dimensions of one of these pads, how the dimensions that I start out with on this. The dimensions are, and I'm just going to use this. Let's see. Go ahead and do this one, Pam. That over there. And now this off of this one. I should have done this before, but I don't know. I've just been, my head's been elsewhere. Hope everybody had a nice Mother's Day. I had a wonderful Mother's Day. I convinced my children just to come over here and bring food, and they came to my house, and you wouldn't believe the food. They actually, one of my daughters-in-law cooked baked steak in the crock pot and made banana pudding. And the other, my son made mashed potatoes. I said, awesome, you guys are awesome. All right. Okay, what's going to happen is I'm going to cut this down to 4 1/4. I'm going to cut it 4 1/2 for a raw edge off. It's going to be 4 1/4. Pretty sure that's what I cut them. Hang on, here's one. Yeah. Yeah, because this is 4 by 6, and I cut them at 4 1/4 by 6 1/2 or 6 1/4. So that's what I do. I just get a box like this, and I do like 6 1/2, and then I cut down to 6 1/4 off the other end, so everything's nice and even. And I cut 2 just like that. And this is a elbow macaroni box. You can use cereal boxes. If you want to use chipboard, you can, but that's the measurement. 4 1/4 by 6 1/2, cut 2. Alrighty. And then I take, like, get that out of the way. Then I take like this piece, cut that off. Ooh, got all kinds of stuff. And I cut that part off of it. And cut this part off of it. Just cut it off. And I'm just going to cut 2. I don't know. I think what I do is I usually just cut it like 1 inch, and then I cut it down later. 1 inch. Ooh, okay. Inch, close enough. Okay, and you got that piece for another spine. And then you cut it down to 6 1/4. Okay, then I get rid of this, put it over here, keep it. And what I do is, I don't know if I can do this on here or not. What I do is I get this thing out and then I cut it down. I don't like that edge. I was doing them at 3/4, but then I backed it off. I think I'm doing them about a half. And I'm just going to do that. Or this might have been, I don't know what it is once I get done. Okay. And then that ended up at actually 5/8. So cut 2, 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and then 1 6 1/4 by about 5/8. It could even go a 1/2 inch because see how much room you have left there. So anyway, okay, that was that. That was that thing. Then I had somebody ask me to cover one of these. Now, I have done this before. I had, like, I forget if 5 or 7 months ago, I did do a tutorial on how to cover these pads. These pads right here. And these pads are 5, this would be 5 by 8. 5 by 8. Yep, that's exactly what it is. So, anyway, I was going to show how I you really don't cut a lot, actually. I was just going to score and fold and show you how I cut up the center and all that stuff. Alrighty. But I have to line this one, so I'm going to score this one. This is out of the Bloomsbury pad, and I chose this, and it's single-sided, and I chose this one because it has that pattern right there in it. So I chose that to line it with. Okay, scoreboard. Okay, try to get up here where it can be seen. This is a little bit far away from me. I need to pull this towards me just a little bit, but I don't think I can. I don't know. All right. Anyway, it is 12, and I do use this. Okay, you find center, which is 6, and go 1/8 of an inch to either side of that 6-inch mark, and score it all the way down. Careful, if your paper's thin, it'll rip. And then go back to the 6, and on the left side, go to the 1/8 inch, just to the left. So what it'd be 5 7/8, and then score at 6 1/8. That's what that would be if you just don't want to go to, 1/8 inch either side. So then that's going to make your spine. All right, and then I do a 1/2 inch on either side here. Just a 1/2 inch. And you're going to fold that in. Okay, and then a 1/2 inch on this side. I said I didn't cut anything off. It's just a one sheet. One sheet makes this whole thing. Fold it up, make the pocket. But sometimes when it's directional, your image will be upside down, but I don't think that's too much of a problem. And then I rotate it to it doesn't matter, either side, and I go up 1, 2, 3, I think it's 3 1/2 is what I'm doing. If I'm not sure, just lay that back down on there. Probably, I think 3 5/8. Okay. You can adjust. If you want a shallower pocket, cut off part of your paper before you begin scoring. Okay. That's it. That's all the score marks. I think I am going to deepen this one just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay. And then that goes away. Get it out of my way. And then what I do is right here, this right here, I cut on either side, can't really, of that score mark. I cut on either side of it. Just a little to either side. I may go out of frame a little bit, but it's just, my scissors got something on them. It's real easy. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of measuring with this. I just cut to either side of that, because we're going to cut that off. Yeah. There we go. And then either side of that, the other side of that score mark, right? And what I do is I take my little sharp cutter bees and I cut that off. Yeah, I cut it off. And you can cut it off, but you can also clean it up later. Cut that off. Don't use that. Now, you could actually cut that and then fold it up here if you wanted to, and it would cover this part, but it wouldn't cover that part. All right, so then you cut this part off, this little wedge right here. Oop. You cut on this, you know, this inside of that score line and inside of that score line. And it may not be perfect, and oh wow, really? Seriously? It's not going to be perfect, Pam? Yeah, well, we're humans. And it looks like that right there. And do the same thing on the other side. Like I said, I don't know if I can get this in frame or not. And I'm going to get under 30 minutes. I think it might cut off at 30 minutes, and I think it has something to do, I don't know, if it's hours watched or if you're monetized or not, but they won't let you go past 30 minutes. Anyway, that's the way it looks. Looks that way when you're done. And you may have to trim a little more when you start folding up like this, because you don't want it to not fold right there. I can see right now I'm probably going to have to take a little bit more of that. I'm going to fold this one up to get it out of my way. Just a tiny bit more. Just a tiny bit. And sometimes when I say that, it doesn't end up a tiny bit. It ends up more than a tiny bit. But because you don't want it getting in the way of the fold. Okay, like that. This one too. So you can go a little bit further, I guess, to the side of that, but you can also put this on your cutter thing if you want. I've just never thought it warranted that much trouble. Yeah, maybe, but I'm kind of in a little bit of a hurry to get under that timeline. Trim that up later. But yeah, okay, that's going to be good. Also, you don't want it coming into play over here either, but I think that'll be fine. Let's just see, shall we? There we go. Okay. That. Hold this over like that. But you're not going to do any gluing. You're just pre-folding these lines. Now, here, to make this do what it needs to do, you take your ruler and you put it down there and you draw a line right here. And you do the same thing on the other side. Doesn't matter which side, you know, how you measure it, but a ruler there, right? Okay. What you do is you make a little V-cut, just a tiniest little V-cut right there. You start out to the right of the line and then meet it right up there. Start out to the left of the line and meet it on that line up there. And it's going to look like that. Like that. That way, this pocket is the full length of the pocket. Okay, when you glue it down. Now I'm just going to cut the other side. I'm doing this really fast. And I always feel, well, you're going to make a mistake. Well, maybe not. little V on that side, just so it doesn't interfere with this, because this is going to come over here. I got that cut a little bit crooked, but it's not going to matter. Just so you have the full width of this, because this is going to get glued down right there. And fold it the score lines here. Okay. Oops, not good. Fold it the score lines here. Okay, fold it the score lines there. And there you go. Now, if you line this, whenever I line them, I line because it's white. I'm just going to line it with this, and I measure just about exactly 8 1/4 by 5 1/4, almost 5 1/4. So let's get this out. And I want them running, I don't know, I think I want them running that way. So I'll cut 8 1/4, thereabouts, by, what did I say, 5 1/4. I think I'm going to back it off just a little tiny bit. Not quite 5 1/4. And then, again, not quite 5 1/4. And there, can be used for cards or something. I do, sometimes, like on this one, I inked it, but it was more of a craft, and I did ink around all the edges. And you can ink around all the edges. What you do is you just put that in there, line it up with the top. Not so much anything else except the top and this other side. That's it. Yeah, like that. And then you put that down and you glue this down, and then you glue that down, and you have it lined. Or if you want it showing really pretty up here, you glue this down first, and you can line it up like that. Glue this down, and you just have a border like that in my end frame. Yes. So you can do that. I might do it this way next. I might do it like this time. And then you just glue this down. I don't glue this side to make it free to put a new paper pad in. I'm not going to glue it today. But it makes it free. It goes in there a little more freely. That, like that. Okay. And then this one, you line it. Line it. And you can either have it over the outside, but I'm kind of liking this on this, like this right there. Like that. Down, down, glue that down, and glue this right here, and there will be your pocket. Now, without gluing it, do you see how I did that? Huh? Okay. I don't know if I went really fast or not. I don't know. What's my time like? 19 minutes. But that is how I make one of those covers. Let's see what it looked like. Got over here. Blue. Blue. Blue, 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 blue. I don't have any blue, do I? Blue. There we do. Yeah. Let's do this one. Blue. Blue. I don't have blue. I don't have a blue. Okay. That's green. What's this one? I don't have a blue. Oh, maybe this. Maybe that was my blue. Let's see if you want to. you can do the edges like that. Yeah, like that. And I'm doing them where you can't even see. Okay. Oh, I did forget to clean up that cut, didn't I? Actually, it's not that bad. And sometimes I'll you know, do those too. Like the edges like this. Yeah. I don't need to do this one because it's going to be underneath, but I think. Okay. Got some ink over there. Oops, got some ink on it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, the whole project's ruined. I got ink someplace it shouldn't be. Right, sure. Made by human hands here. I don't know if I'm going to put that over or... And then, let's see. Got... Yes. I'll put that one under. And to do the I'm always afraid the paper's going to rip if I do it the wrong way. Or crease it somewhere it shouldn't be creased. And I didn't hard fold that one yet. Okay. I didn't really get that one really good anyway, did I? Oops. Keep going out of frame. Right there. Here we go. There. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. Got ink all over the place. Okay. Yeah. Put these in. I think I just used this. I just used this. My tape runner. Oops. Now what the heck? Oh, I hate it whenever I start to do something and the stupid thing screws up on me. Don't you just love that part? Ugh. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. There it is. All right. There we go. Yeah, off-brand. Off-brand, but you know, the tape we could actually afford. Okay. Go ahead and do one. I got a little bit of time. Ah! Oh, I see what it did. It was, I was running out. Okay, that's all right. Oh, brother. Okay. Well, I didn't know I was that close to running out. It just... See what happens whenever I say, oh, I think I'll do just a little bit more. Right. Sure. Wonder if I can get this out of the bottle. It was really gummed up the other day. Oh, I can. Okay, here we go. Just a little bit more of that. There we go. I would have put this on it, but you saw what I was going through. Okay. Put this one in there. All right, let's see if I can get it in there. Yeah, I'm not going to ink it. I'll ink it. If I'm going to ink it, I'll ink it later. Okay. And if you get it over the top just a little bit, you can always trim it off. There. That looks pretty. Oh, look what I did. I said I was going to put that underneath, didn't I? Okay, putting it over now. I'm not going back. Okay. And then I think I put this one under. I think I did that last time. Like I said, see, no, I don't have the tape to do it. Okay. I'll just do one side, because you see how well that's been working out for me so far. I'll put that under because it actually makes it look just a little bit nicer. Okay, and then do this one over, which I wasn't gonna do. Okay, I didn't like his paper anyway. This Bloomsbury, I don't even know why I got it. I think I got it because it was on sale. Okay. And then get the whole pocket. Okay. There. Now you can see how it's done. Like I said, I've done that before several times. And then I'll just come back in and do this one. Put this in here. It'll all be good. The end. All right. Same thing. And then you just decorate the outside. Oh, 26 minutes. I better go. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Bye.